Hi, good morning, everybody. We're learning the Rambam. Today we learn a lot of Rambam. We learn the whole Hilchos Melichah and a lot more. So we'll discuss one halacha. The halacha is in Rambam, Perik Vov, halacha Yud. The Rambam says, Ein habosar yoytze midei dome. In order to make the blood leave the meat, you have to have Melichah yofe yofe. You have to have a very good Melichah. Umadicha yofe yofe. And hadocha afterwards to wash off the blood with the salt. Keitzedoy said, the Rambam says, Madiach habosar tchila. First, you rinse the meat to take off any blood that's evident. V'achakach Melichah yofe yofe. Then you need a good Melichah. Umaniche b'milchah, and you leave it in the salt, kedei hiluch mil. A meal, there's a machlekes, it's a niches, and Alter Rebbe Shulchan Aruch. If it's 18 minutes or 24 minutes, we're not going to go into that machlekes. V'achakach, and then you need another hadocha sheitzu amayim zakim. The water has to be clear. There's no more redness in the water. Then you know all the blood's washed away. But then there's a chiddush of the Rambam. The Rambam says, "Umashlichoi miyad l'toich mayim roischin," that you have to put it right away into boiling water. Avaloi lepoishrin, not too lukewarm water. Kedei sheyislabein miyad v'lo yetze dam, so it should right away singe it, and blood shouldn't move anymore. By dam ho'ivorim, the Rambam speaks in today's Rambam, it only becomes osir if it moves. Therefore, you have to put it into mayim roischim. Mashma from the Rambam, a big chiddush, that not all the blood goes out. Says the Ravid on this. Loi shamanu v'loi ro'inu miyomeinu. We never heard this chumrah of having to take the meat after the hadocha, melicha, and hadocha. We never heard this. Any redness that comes out from the meat, after the salting, it says the Gemara in Chulin Daf Kuf Yud Beis that sli also takes out the blood. So if you take the blood, the meat after you cut it and it's red on a piece of bread, so the Gemara, it's wine juice. It's not blood, because the tzliya takes it away. Says the Ravid, finishes, v'hamachmir yeser al-kain, someone who's more machmir, olav lo havi raya, he should bring a raya. And we also find the Magid Mishnah, ve'eni moitzi bo ze smach borur l'divrei Rabbeinu. Ich verstehe nicht, what the Rambam will. Where is he getting this? That you have to throw it into boiling water to singe the meat so the blood shouldn't be able ever to move. Where is this? Davon verstehen shittus Rambam. There are those that want to say that the Rambam Shitta explains a shaila, how come there's no difference in shiur between a thick piece of meat or a thin piece of meat. So they say, aha, not all the meat goes out. And based on this is Arop Yenes shaila. There is also a Amik shaila from the Netziv on the Shiltas that Rav Achoy Samach Dalet, I think it is. He wants to say something very interesting, Halacha L'Maaseh, and the Aruch HaShulchan agrees with him. I think they were brother-in-laws. They want to say that if you do the smaller shir of 18 minutes, not an hour, if you're running late, it's Erev Shabbos. So if it's only 18 minutes in the salt, then you have to be machmir according to Shittas Rambam. Mifrekt after Emek Sheila. Vasemashim on the next haloch in the Maked Mishnah, that if you did the shir of the Rambam, the shir meal, all the blood went out. So darf man verstehen, was ist die Schitte von Rambam? We find a fascinating Rogatchover. The Rogatchover wants to connect the machlekes of the Rambam and the Ravid, whether you consider Dam HaBalua as a Metzias or not. How does he connect it? The Rogatchover. The Rogatchover wants to connect it with the machlekes. If you have to do biur shvis on something which is balua, is balua a metzias or not a metzias? The Rambam learns it is a metzias, therefore you have to do biur shvis, and we'll soon discuss. Versus the Ravid learns that it's not a metzias. And it's a Mishnah in Shvis. Let's take a trip to Shvis. The Mishnah says like this. Vered Chodosh arose. It's the Mishnah in Shvis. Peirik Zayin, Mishnah Zayin. A rose that you put in oil. It was old oil. It was a new rose. Yelake the savered, you take out the rose before Zman HaBiur. There's no problem. Then the Rambam says, the Mishnah says, Charuvin Chadoshin, they used to put boxer. They used to put it in old wine or old boxer. In new wine, you have to have biur. And the Rambam says, Ze haklal, kol shu b'noisin tam chayiv levoyer, that even the bolua, you have to be mevayah. If you look in the next page, the Rogatchover wants to say that it's totally the machlekes of the next perek regarding shloisha kvoshin. You had three. Sorry. Okay, we'll do it after that. The Mishnah says that if you have shloisha kvoshin, three different pickled foods, and it's a different time, the Zman HaBiur. So there's a machlekes, if you have to be mevayed every vegetable as its Zman HaBiur happens, or do we say that every vegetable is boileya from the other vegetable? Since it's boileya from the other vegetable, so you have to do Zman HaBiur together. The Rambam and Peirik Zayin from Hilchis Shemittah v'Yoyva Alocha Chof Aleph, it seems that he writes that you have to do biur because there is a nursing time. So that's the shita of the Rambam that says that Balua is a Metzias. Therefore, there is Chal Achiyuv biur. But the Ravid learns, you find it in the beginning of Shemittah V'Gevel. He says the Shittah of Rabbi Gamliel is that there is no nation tam. You don't care about it. It's not Isser Achila, it's a Chiyuv Biur. There's no Chiyuv Chal on. There's no Chiyuv Biur Chal on a Tam Bolua. Will the Rogatshov lernen that this is the Machlekes of the Rambam and the Ravid. The Rambam learns that Bolua is a Metzias. There's a Chiyuv Biur on Shvis. And if there's a chiyuv biur on shviz, there's also a chiyuv of making sure the dam doesn't move. But the Ravid learned that there's no chiyuv on it. Davon noch aber a bissel verstehen, because in the end of Perek Zayin, the Ravid doesn't argue with the Rambam who paskins that a vered, if you do it in newer oil, you do have to take it out because the vered gives tam. There's a beautiful Mishnah Achreina and the Mishnah in Shvis of Shloisha Kavoshim. He says that over there, since it's a bunch of vegetables, they're not nice and tam. With this, he answers the Stid in the Rambam, why by Shloisha Kavoshim you don't go on the tam, and here you do go basar taima. But it's a bissel shver. Because why doesn't the Ravid say anything here in the last two halachas of Akoivish Vered and Charuvin Shel Shvis? Now, there is actually a Ravid in the Gemara Chulin that says that blood and the Beis Yosef also brings it in Siman Samachtes in his Pirush on the Torah, that there could be juice coming that's redder than the actual blood. And it's a dover tomua. Kemen efshe zogen, the Rogatshov darf verstehen a bissel, if it's a metzias, it's not a metzias. Here's a chiyuv biur, here's a isser achila. How could you compare it? The Ravid says there's no chiyuv biur because it's not isser achila, it's a chiyuv biur. Here we're talking about a chiyuv achila. Also, darf verstehen, how could the Rambam argue with a Gemara that says that it's the wine of Bosor? Kemen efshe zogen, as the blood is out. It's not blood, but it doesn't look right. We find in Hilchos Bosor v'Cholov, if you make meat with milk from almonds, you have to have a bunch of almonds there. People should know. Manasai, Kemen efshe zogen, and the Rambam is cheshish from Manasai that looks, it's redder than that from Machas Solish Zayin. But the halacha l'maaseh, we pass on like the Ravid, that the meat we buy in the store could be full of red juice. It's not blood. It's chamer yayin. And Zol der Eibishter helfen. There's a beautiful hayom yom regarding salting meat. It says that a salting meat is the yechidus. So the Eibishter helfen through learning Hilchos Melichah, we should be zeichet to have yechidus again. With our Rebbe, and especially doing this Heirah, the Rebbe learning this one halacha le'yun and zayt al gesund.